But God, what do I think? I don't want to be too quick to judge because maybe they're cooking something for the next couple of quests. But 80% of this quest didn't need to exist. Fair enough, 3.5 exists to set up the whole area, to introduce a new area before setting the story in motion. But my biggest complaint remains with Qing Xiao's segment being jammed right in the middle of a crisis, and it dragged on for way too long. That should have been done pre-quest, or I think it would have made sense in pre-quest. Rover didn't really need to be there. I don't feel like Rover added any value in her quests at all. It was like her battle to fight, and it was her you know, it was her decision to overcome. Rover was just there, quote unquote, as an insurance, but I mean, that insurance could have as easily be as locking herself in like a mountain or something, in a cave or something. I don't know. And I'm sure Shin can probably deal with it anyway. So yeah, that's from a story structure perspective. I think that's my biggest complaint. As usual, there's nothing to complain about in terms of production quality. Kuro just, you know, being Kuro. Absolutely amazing in cutscene, absolutely amazing in background music, absolutely amazing in like just framing, storyboarding, cinematic, lighting, environment even. But I do feel like in the past couple of quests they've been starting to fall a little bit short in terms of stirring up emotion. I don't feel as emotionally attached to the story as I did in Lahai Roy. I don't feel like it pushed the urge of wanting to find out what's happening in next patch. As I said, I almost forgot that the update was dropping today. I kind of just like remember last night, oh yeah, I better get through the story, and if we get through it, we get through it. And only after like playing other games in between 3.5 and 3.6, you know, having gone through other gacha main story, I realized there's actually a way to tell a story besides just, you know, forever polishing production quality. You could have, you know, for example, you know, a not as well produced game, but, you know, much darker world, much, you know, grimmer writing. Or you could have, you know, very light-hearted approach. You could have, you know, a basically, you're not like Wuwa is almost falling into his own trap and using the same formula now. This is a very Wuwa patch for Wuwa. It didn't really break the mold. It didn't try anything new. It was, you know, at the end of the day, the banner character saving the world. The crisis was, you know, averted kind of thing. I would like to see more quests like 3.4 Segway with Lucilla, where it's not about the world in danger, where it's not about Tacit Discord attacking the town. It wasn't about people dying. It was a very real issue. It was a political one. It was one about the fate of the school. To me, that was a fresh breath of air. But then right after that, we're jumping straight into, oh shit, you know, there's crisis, Tacit Discord attacking town, we must save the world. Okay, banner character, get a power up, overcome her inner demon, hand in hand with Rover, defeated the villain, and we get a little bit of a lore. Like the structure is now becoming very, very apparent. As I said, I don't know what else they could do for the rest of 3.x if the plan is to go to new Fed by 4.0 comes the new year. We're already in August. There is roughly only 2 patches. I mean, given the next 40 days and 2 patches duration after 40 days update, we're looking at 120 days, and that's even cutting a bit close. That's, you know, 120 days is easily 4 months, so that will push us right into Christmas. So unless they're going to plan to stick around here for a little bit longer than the new year, there isn't really much more opportunity for them to introduce a new crisis, new villain, and we still have to resolve the backstory with Shin, and we still have to figure out what the hell's going on with Kota Savante. That was the whole purpose of coming here first. So I don't think we're going to be going to Mangzhou anytime soon, and certainly not Mingting. So if the new Fed is going to rumor to go for a whole year, us revisiting this will be it'll be a very, very distant future. I don't know whether they jammed this in because Lahai Roy couldn't make a whole year, or whether Lahai Roy was a bit of an afterthought, and so they need a second afterthought to fill the gap of yeah, I don't know where they're gonna go from here. I guess we'll find out next patch. Next patch is probably a turning point in terms of I think peak in this region. And obviously they're probably cooking something big for Shin. They no doubt Kuro would know that that's the most popular character of all the one that's being announced. And I think we'll still get 2 more characters unannounced. One of them being likely a transition to a new Fed character. Wouldn't make sense without it. Just like how Chisa was a little bit of a transition character from Renacida to High Roy, I think we're going to get one from transition from Changfeng going over to New Fed. But yeah, overall, I guess, yeah, it was good. I don't really want to put a rating on it. I don't think there's really any way to rate it. There's good bits, there's not so good bits. There is... It's a steady output from Kuro, what can I say? But I just hope that the story and the overall plot can be improved a bit more. And I'm hoping that Kuro can focus a bit more with gameplay outside of the main story quest. I know it's a common complaint on a lot of people, myself included. Ever since I pick up other game, I just felt like there's nothing to do after I finish the main story quest. I'm coming on here, do the daily for 2 minutes, and then off I go. Like I shelf the game. Like on the Monday I do a bit more because there's weekly reset, right? I do the weekly event, I do the material farming, and that's it. And then every now and then TOA reset and WeWa reset, and that's it. There isn't really much to do. Yes, there's event, but the event is somewhat shallow. Events are like a way for Kuro to test new tech and test new gameplay mode, but they're not deep enough to be a mainstay. They don't stick around for ages, and even if anything stick, it's just a different system applied to the existing combat system. So I like to see more co-op stuff. I think co-op is still not very well developed. It's probably the weakest in terms of like multiplayer interaction in terms of all the gacha games out there in the market. Not the weakest, but probably not. I don't think it's fair to say the weakest. Probably one of the weakest. Like there's obviously other games that it's just as weak. But there's also stronger one out there with good story. So it's a give and take. But Kuro being Kuro, they've decided to put all of the effort into polishing the story, the story presentation. So that's what the setting. I think that's what the high point and sets it apart from the competitors. But equally so, I think the other areas are lacking. So if you treat this as like, as I said at the start of this stream, as a quality OVA where you come back once every 40 days, or in an OVA world, you come back once every 6 months when a new episode drops, you can always rely on quality, but it's not one that you're always trying to remind yourself that you need to follow every week to figure out what's going on next. There's simply none of that. It's not one that you would rewatch either. It's just like, yeah, it is really nice. Once it's over, it's over. So I don't know when it's probably gonna be a while before we will see a phenomenon like 3.1 ever again. It's going to be a very, very hard hill to cross. I think it's quite evident going to 3.5. I think that's a very, very rare patch. Everyone's going to compare the subsequent quest with, you know, essentially 3.1, which is a 1 in 100 patch or something. And then obviously with the collab as well, that was peak. So yeah, I think for the rest of this year, the trajectory is probably going to be flat, slightly downhill compared to the first half. But I'm sure they're cooking something for 4.x, and there's always something to look forward to. Anyway, I'm super hungry. I didn't think that I'll get through all of the quests in one lot. I thought they were still going to split into 2 parts. I was going to do this over 2 lot, but you know, it is what it is. I'm done. I'm gonna get some food, and I'll get through the segue tomorrow and do a bit of maybe exploration and see if there's any new event drop. And try out the co-op mode with a couple of friends. Maybe I'll put it on this video separately. I don't know. We'll see. Half an hour of segue is not really worthwhile turning on the camera and just do a stream. But yeah, enough rambling. I think anything. If I keep going, I'm just gonna keep repeating myself anyway. So yeah, that's it. Ciao. See you in the next one.